Yes, sir. Have you joined? Sorry. I'm seeing a lot of people waiting. So I've admitted you now. Sorry. You are in now. I've admitted you.
Can you please unmute your mic?
Wow. Well, thank you, Faith. Yeah, so I have here once again Lucy, all the way from Germany. Can we please turn on our videos? Okay, we already live streaming now. So we are live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube. So yeah, please, can we turn on our videos now? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Kevin, powerful, powerful. Lucy, can we see you, please? Yeah, Uncle Moyo, the Prof himself, Sir Prince, thanks for joining. Ujumo, thanks for joining. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Thanks, sir. We have, yeah. Stephanie, can you turn on your video, please? Yeah, thank you, Lucy. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Uncle Moyo, thanks. And I think someone is also told me to join again, Zoom user. Thank you. Okay. So without wasting much of our time, because I know we are all busy persons. In fact, today being is actually a great sacrifice for most of you to join here to this night, because it's a working day, it's an official day. Some people are just coming back from work, from different meetings or the other. So I count it a great privilege to have you on board. Thank you. It shows how much you guys love Blossom. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I do not take this privilege for granted. Thank you once again. So today we'll be looking at priority or an option. Priority or an option in a relationship. Okay, so we had the one for, as many that followed my page, we had the one I think last week Monday, and it was just an introduction. It was just introduction. We have looked at, okay, what does it mean for someone to be an option in a relationship, or what does someone need to do to be a priority or to remain as an option, and what are the strategies, what are the dimensions that actually point towards all these things for someone becoming either a priority or an option. And then we were able to look at this being a priority. Is it actually an entitlement? Because we live in a world today that literally everything is entitlement, everything is right. Okay, so is it something that is my entitlement if I'm in a relationship, or is it something that I must aim? Is it something that is aimable? Is it something that is demandable? And before sending out the invitations, I took time to actually get some of our married brothers and sisters, of our married uncles in the house. Okay, so that it also help us, because I major more in on the singles, but with the help of these uncles and aunties, friends and families, it will be great. It will be great. Thanks once again. I don't know the Zoom user, if it's Pastor Gideon. If it's Pastor Gideon, I think that is awesome, because it's going to take us for a few minutes talk then before we kick off with the interactions tonight, with the questions. So feel free, feel relaxed, because the questions are something that is not actually going to put us off our feet, but it's something that we'll be able to do justice to. Once again, thank you, and I'm honored to have you on board. Thank you, thank you. And then a quick little introduction, maybe might help. Mr. Kevin Sule is a motivational speaker. He's the PRO of our great platform, the Unique Initiators here in Europe. I think he's going to make an extension of it in US. I don't know what the Lord is saying to him as well. And we have Uju. Uju is a business associate residing in Lagos State, and she's a great personality. She's awesome, and she's doing great. And we have Mr. Prince, Uncle Prince is my professor here, one of the persons we look up to today. And as God helps us, we keep looking up to one another. He's a great man. He's a maritime seller, or he's a mariner, and he's a great man. We have Alare Faith. Yeah. Alare Faith is a big auntie, very, very big auntie. In fact, seeing her here today, I'm very, very happy, because it's been a while. It's been a while. And yeah, we have my big uncle in the house, and Auntie Dami. as well, Pastor Moyo and Pastor Mrs. Moyo Shuba.
Of course.
I love care for you, sir. Auntie Dami, God bless you for joining us. And Stephanie, thanks for joining us. That is actually, I think they are the latest couple in the house. Stephanie is the wife of Mr. Kevin Sule. Okay, so it means
Yeah.
something great is happening. Okay, awesome. So thanks for joining. And the Zoom user, thanks for joining us. I wish to address you by name, but nevertheless, thanks for joining us. And if you can turn on your video, it will be cool. God bless you. Thanks for joining us. Okay, while we wait for Mr. Gideon to come on board, now I want to bring the question up because we already have viewers that are waiting and we can't keep them waiting both on Facebook and on YouTube. So I'm going to be starting from Uncle Prince Joseph. I'm going to be starting with Uncle Prince Joseph. So now we are looking at the topic that says priority or an option. Okay, so when we look at people in a relationship, are there some signs? Are there some symptoms? Are there things that one can say, one that is in a relationship, or what are the symptoms? What are the signs that someone that is in a relationship can actually see, and then the person will consider him or herself as not a priority or as an option? Uncle Prince.
Once again, good evening to everybody, wherever you are. I want to say thank you for the invitation to Professor Samuel Job and to our guest, Gideon P. Ebielama. To everybody participating, I want to say thank you for being here present. And I want to be honest, so far, I've only had friends. I've not been in a relationship where I call someone as my girlfriend, like someone I'm dating. I just want to be honest because it's the best policy all over the world. But so far, I've been reading about relationship and also I've been a keen observant of many relationships around me. People who are married, people who have started a relationship that are in the process, and somehow people even come out to seek advice from me. Ah, Brother Prince, I'm in a relationship and I see these signs in the relationship. What do you think? What do you advise? And I've been able to contribute from my readings and research on relationships. So far, today we are talking about priority or an option in a relationship. So the question is, what are the signs you will see in a relationship that will indicate you are being a priority in that relationship or you are being an option? Or it's very clear if you are into a relationship, both partners need to prioritize each other. And along the line, if they are not prioritizing each other, it will be very clear. Let's just imagine I'm in a relationship with Gloria and we've been testing each other. Let's say in every minute we test each other. We can't do without testing if we are apart. Then all of a sudden, Gloria stops sending me text messages. She keeps delaying replies. That is a sign to me that what is happening? Is Gloria losing an interest in me? Because if someone is losing an interest in you, it does mean you are lacking something or the person wants to quit the relationship or want to look for something better. Beside that, still an instance, anytime I'm with Gloria, we can't do without talking to each other. Then all of a sudden along the line, Gloria begins to lose interest by stop chatting or stop communicating with me. That is to tell you something is wrong. We were into each other. We used to talk every minute. We would discuss on one topic or the other. But all of a sudden, I will come in with a topic, but you won't respond. The answers will be very short and brief. But then you will bring in your own ideas. You will try to share your own opinion. But now you no longer do that. It's a sign that something is wrong. She might be losing interest in me. So that could be a sign where someone will see you as an option and no longer a priority in the relationship. Then also, it could also be plans you guys are having, individual plans. Imagine I'm applying for a job and I'm not trying to share with Gloria the job I'm applying for or the company I'm applying for. I'm trying to hide it to myself. Then Gloria later find out that I'm doing this. Maybe she won't just confront me at that particular moment. The relationship will go along. Then I will do something else again. I will still not open up to Gloria and tell her this is what I'm doing. This is the project I'm in right now. And Gloria will find out later again. It shows that I'm not really taking Gloria along in the relationship. If truly I prioritize Gloria in that relationship, it means I have to share all my plans with her, even if not all, but at least to an extent, let's say maybe 90% of my plans or 80% of my plan. That's a fair share of it. But if I'm trying to hide my plans from her and she is finding it later on her own, it shows that this is not someone I see as a future partner or someone I really want to spend the rest of my life with or be the all to her. So that shows it will tell Gloria that she is being an option. She is not being respected. She is not being trusted in that relationship. So it will definitely send a signal to Gloria that no, I'm becoming an option here. Then apart from that, like feelings, definitely in a relationship, there is no how you can hide your feelings. If someone has feelings for you, it will definitely show. I should have started with that. When someone is in love with you, every action of that person will definitely show to you that this person is in love with me. So if those actions are not coming up, that shows this person is in love with you. You don't need anybody to advise you that this person is losing interest in you or she is taking you as an option and probably play along, find somewhere else that will be okay for her or for him and go on. So I believe these are few points. I believe we all that are into relationship or that want to go into relationship should take cognizance of and be able to work towards correcting those lapses. Thank you very much for all. This is what I can contribute for now.
Wow, wow. Thank you, Mr. Prince.
Moving further, we'll be able to discuss more. Thank you to all.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Prince. Thank you so much. Awesome. Those are powerful. Those are powerful. Awesome, awesome. So, probably because we didn't have a lot time, okay, because we are working with time as well. So, are we encourage us? Are we suggest and appeal to us to make do with at least 3 minutes for each question, so that we'll be able to have ample time to make enough contributions, because we still have like 5 more questions to go, and every one of us have a lot to say. by the special grace of God. Thank you, Mr. Prince. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So now,
You're welcome, sir.
thank you, sir. Now, getting to know the signs, the symptoms, in when someone is sick, most times people don't actually go to know what's wrong with them, okay, before they actually undergo what is called the self-medications. Okay, so most times a lot of persons in relationship, why seeing these symptoms, why seeing all you've said, sir, the lack of communication, the delays in responses, which actually most of these things have their dimensions with every, according to everyone, or differs in different dimensions as well. Okay, so now seeing all these symptoms now, and the person needs medication now, the person needs treatment, the person, I've seen that, okay, I'm having this, he or she is having these issues, he or she is passing through these challenges, but the person is finding it difficult, okay, the person is finding it difficult on her either to confront, or either to make his or her stance, or either to, make this demand. Okay, so with respect to that, I will be throwing a question to Lucy. I will be throwing this question to Lucy. So, knowing all these stuffs now, knowing these symptoms, what can be your advice? What can be your advice to someone that is in such a situation? What can be your advice to someone in such a situation, knowing that the person is either in pains, or is either seeing these symptoms, or is either seeing these signs, but the person is having a lot of things going through his or her mind, but do not know the right steps or the right measure, or how to approach this? What can be some strategic measures, or what can be your counsel for such person? If my questions are not clear enough, you can ask me, and then I will reiterate all the questions.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I think this brings us to the point of friendship. I think friendship in a relationship, without friendship, it would almost be impossible to, have an open and a very honest conversation. In such a situation, like, I think it's necessary, it's a necessity that you have to talk to your partner. You guys have to sit, you have to find a way to talk with this person, because a relationship is not something one should joke with, or one should waste. Time is important. Like, every one of us, our time here is limited. So why should I waste time just waiting and thinking and just not moving forward because of someone else? We are in charge of our time, and we have to take charge of our time. So I think just trying to politely confront the other person and ask, hey, what's up? Like, this is what I feel. What do you think? And just let the other person be open and expressive. We have, how is it called? We all know when, like, someone is telling the truth, mostly if it's someone we've been with and it's someone we know. And if the person is not telling the truth, or the person doesn't want to say, you just air your opinion and say how you feel. If you are a priority, the person will be willing to make sure they make amends, and to patch up those holes and those things causing, like, the gap and these insecurities. So that's what I think. Having an open conversation and just talk about it freely, and it's not a do or die affair. If the other person is not willing to change, why not? We move forward. We move. Yeah. So that's what I think.
Wow, thank you. We move. Thank you. Okay, because life is short, and life is very, very important, and everybody is a CEO of his or her life. Yeah, and friendship is very, very important. I think one great point you just made: friendship is something that is really lacking today. People can just see anybody and just get into the vehicle without knowing the destination. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's hear from Alare Faith on this issue. What can be your counsel or your advice to someone who is having such situation, who is in such a condition and have been seeing these signs, seeing these symptoms, but is finding it difficult either on what to do? What can be your advice? Thank you.
Okay, so if you're in a relationship and you've seen the symptoms that you're not being prioritized in a relationship, and you've tried to take measures, like our sister Lucy has said, to have an open conversation about it, and you still do not see changes or efforts in the other person trying to prioritize you, you do not see any changes or efforts, the only advice I have for that is peacefully leave the relationship, because if you're not married yet, you should just leave, because your health, your mental health is really important, and yourself should be prioritized. You should prioritize your peace also. So there is no need for you to like fight so much, like I love him or whatever. Just carefully and leave the relationship. That's my advice to the person.
Wow, thank you, thank you. So the person should carefully and prayerfully leave the relationship on discovering that he or she is not prioritized. Let me just go back to the viewers. So hi viewers over there. So I believe you're listening to every one of us speaking here, and I believe that you're gaining something. You can make your comments, and you can as well make your contributions and ask your questions. Okay, so we'll be able to gather all the questions, and the questions will be addressed on the 30th of this month by the special grace of God. Thank you once again. Thank you for joining us, whether on YouTube or on Facebook, and God bless you. Thank you for all the guest speakers that are here, and God bless us mightily in Jesus' name. Thank you. So I have another question here quickly because of time factor, and we have been constrained with time. This question goes to our uncles in the house, our married uncle in the house, married uncles in the house, Pastor Moyo and his wonderful wife, Auntie Dami, and Mr. Kevin and his wonderful wife, Stephanie. First to Pastor Moyo and Auntie Dami. So is, looking at this issue of priority and option, now is being a priority, is it a demand? Is it an entitlement when someone is in a relationship? Is it that is it an entitlement when one is in a relationship? Once you're in a relationship, it doesn't matter the longevity of the relationship. It doesn't matter how old is the relationship. Is it that I must be considered as a priority? One, is it something I must demand for? And is it something that I must aim? So, is this something that is it my right? Is it my is it my entitlement? Because I'm speaking in this way because most things I bring on board are things God helped me to handle. And recently, I've had a lot of incessant emails and questions as regards to this, and I'm still learning as well. So that's why I'm bringing our married uncle and our married auntie. So being in a relationship, is it an entitlement that I must be considered as a priority, or is it something I must demand for, or is it something I should aim? So first to Uncle Moyo and Auntie Dami.
Hi everyone, good evening. It's a privilege to be here tonight. Thank you for the invite, and thank you everyone, the speakers, and thank you for hosting the special program. I mean, it's needed to open to open doors to so many youth today that are actually, having friends and they thought they are in relationship. So first we need to define what the word, the priority means. So for you to know if you're actually, if priority is actually, it's required in a relationship, you need to know what it means in the first place. All right, so I'll use our relationship, and no, we're married now, but many years ago, we were in a relationship. So it got to a point that we had to start some distance relationship for more than 3 years, I guess. So then you will discover if you are always together, you will know you might not know what relationship means until when you go into a distance relationship. Sorry for the background noise. If you're hearing my daughter speaking. All right. So priority is required in a relationship. So priority is required in a relationship. If you don't consider your mate as the real priority in anything you do. For instance, I use my like I said, I want to use my wife as an example. I will be my place of work, in a day. I cannot do without, if I'm working, I'll just think about, oh, I've not sent her a message. Let me do that. It by default. You don't even nobody need to force you to do that. It keep ringing, if I try to write some code, then in 5 minutes I would think, I've not sent her a message. It's something that is inbuilt in you. So nobody needs to tell you that your partner is a priority. And the same thing goes to her, that every second you always think about, how is she doing? What are you up to? You know, it's something special in your life. It's not something that, it's, you can have friends, like what our brother said. He said, I have many friends, but I don't have someone in a relationship. You can have friends. Friends can be option, but in relationship, it's a priority. All right. So you don't have double dating, you don't have double relationship. You only fall in love once. You can't fall in love with many at the same time. So if you fall in love with many at the same time, you can call it an option. But if you know the real meaning of priority, you fall in love, you can only love one person at the same time. You understand? So that's why we call it, it's required, and it's very, very important in relationship. So I will leave my wife to add more to that in order not to take time. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Bro Sam, for the invite. God bless you, sir. And I'm seeing beautiful faces, Sister Faith, seeing you here. It's amazing, Bro Kelvin, Sister Stephanie. It's good to see you guys. Okay, so quickly, you see, the matter of priority. I think if I'm going to be very sincere, all right, like practically, because I love to do practically. Okay, but the thing is, with relationships, sometimes priority changes. I mean, I'm being sincere. Sometimes, you see, when you're just fresh in a relationship, you have this person's attention. You just, all you want is this person's attention and everything. But there is always a point in a relationship where priority changes. And at that point, it is when you need to consciously remind yourself of what the priority is. And that is at that point that you need to discuss these things. Because number one, first thing first, we are all humans. And if we are not going to sugarcoat things right here and talk based on what we want, what we want people to hear, what people want to hear. If you want to be very factual, it is the fact that over time, your priority might change. That doesn't change the fact that you are important in someone else's life. It might just be that at that point in time, there's something they are doing that they're so much into that they forget or they get carried away and they misprioritize things. So they misprioritize you. But that does not make you second hand, or that does not mean that they don't prioritize you anymore. They don't or that does not mean you're optional. All right, that's the word, right? Priority or option, right? So that does not mean you're optional. But the thing is, okay, look at married couples, before you are married, your priority is the wife, is the woman. But after you are married, if you sit down to actually consider what priorities are, at that point, you realize that it's children. At that point in time, priority has changed. The only thing that keeps you involved, that reminds you, that brings you back to the reality of what should be prioritized, is the fact that you consciously sometimes remind yourself or talk about it or realize where your lapses have been, and then you kind of try to like balance things up. But at that moment, I'm telling you, your partner does not come before your children. It's the truth. And there's always another point where, money, financial stability becomes a priority. It's not like you don't want this woman, but you need to be financially stable to be able to give this woman everything. So at that point in time, you are more concerned about the job. You're more concerned about making the money. You're more concerned about acquiring all things you want so that you can be stable enough to make life easier for this person. But that doesn't mean that this person is an option. But it just means that at that point in time, you forget what your priorities are. And we are all humans. So if we are to be sincere with ourselves, we'll know that these things happen to all of us. Even God, I'm sorry to bring God into the equation, but I mean, can I not?
You can write.
But the truth is that even with God, we are in a relationship with God. All right.
Yeah.
We all are in a relationship with God. And sometimes we forget our priority. We forget God as a priority. Don't we? I said we want to lie to ourselves. Sometimes we prioritize a relationship, we prioritize other things, but not God. But sometimes, and a lot of time, God will call back our attention that, see, we need to discuss about it. We need to revisit this thing. So there's been some kind of, a misfocus or misprioritizing or, so that will bring back our attention to the things that are important. But it's just like that reminds us, constant reminder that, okay, there are some things that are important. But that doesn't mean that sometimes you don't get carried away. But when things get to that point, I think the best thing in a relationship, talk about it. And that doesn't mean that you just make a decision that, since this man or this woman is not, your job is more important than me, I'm leaving this relationship. I'm gone for good. It's like I'm not important. I've become an option. If your family, some men, they love their family. Some women, they love their families, and they bring it into everything. So it's like, am I even important in this relationship? But these things are things that need to be talked about, and that is what makes relationship to work. Because it will continue to happen for the rest of your lives. You always see something else that takes away your attention. Let me draw the curtain from that.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, Uncle Moyo. Thank you, Auntie Dami. Wonderful, awesome. She's actually a relationship person, so you can see the passion, and then with Pastor Moyo there. But when she was saying priority changes and goes to children, I could just imagine what was going to the heart of Pastor Moyo. Please, no matter how the priority goes, the man is very important as much as the woman is important, as much as the kids are important too. Because if you leave the man sometimes and focus more on the children, I'm just kidding. That is just the absolute truth. What she just said is absolute truth. Okay. God bless you so much, man. Thank you, sir. Yeah, let's hear from Uncle Kevin and Auntie Stephanie as well. So let's hear from them on this issue of is priority and entitlement, is it a demand? And a practical example as well, just as Auntie Dami and Sir Moyo told us, we go a long way. Okay, so let's hear from Sir Kevin and then Mrs. Kevin, Stephanie.
Okay. First of all, I'm gonna say thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this. I so much appreciate it myself, and my wife. She's definitely gonna speak after me, so no worries. Everyone's gonna hear from her also. However, the question is being a priority a requirement in a relationship? Is that correct?
Yes, sir, you're fine. Is correct. And then is it something that someone must aim? Is it something that someone must demand for, especially looking at when seeing the symptoms? Now you're seeing yourself maybe like you're no longer a priority, you're now an option based on what the person is thinking. So do I need to demand for it? Do I need to push for it that this is my entitlement, and actually is it a requirement as well? Okay.
I'm gonna start by saying this. I'm gonna say, if you are in a relationship and you know that you're in a relationship, not something that happened and you will just assume that you're in a relationship. If you are in a committed relationship where, the both of you had a conversation and sat down and said, we want to do this, let's go ahead and be in a relationship. If you had that conversation, then you are owed a level of priority. That is something that grows with time, right? So, for example, when I met Stephanie and we started talking, right, she was not all the way at the top of my priority list, to be honest. And that's just how it works, right? But after a few months, the day that I sat down to have a conversation with her and say, Luke, I would love us to be in a committed, exclusive relationship and work together to, build a relationship together, she moved up on my priority list. And I think I also did move up on her priority list also. So in, should I say, in reference to what Auntie Dami said, the priority list changes. So that is something that is constant, right? But then the thing is, should you demand, or should being on the priority list be a requirement? If you get to a point in a relationship where you do not really feel like your partner is putting you in their priority list, then there is a really big problem. Because what that means is that your needs are not being taken care of. Because what does being in your partner's priority list mean? It simply means that they are thinking of you and they are doing what they can to have your needs met, right? So when that is not being done, then you are probably, or you have probably moved somewhere down on that list. So I don't know if it is something that you can demand. You really cannot demand it. You cannot force it. But if you do not feel like you are on the priority list of your partner, then you should say something about it, because you have a right to it. Because there was an agreement in the beginning. I don't know if that helps.
Wow, that is awesome. That is great. That is great. Yeah, very awesome. Let's hear from your wife, your wonderful wife, Stephanie, and then I will make my comments from what you've also said, and then we'll move on.
Hello, everyone. I want to start by apologizing. I'm at an appointment, so there's a little bit of noise. But thank you so much, Brother Sam, for inviting us. I will second what my husband has said. I think priorities shift as you go through a relationship, but there should be constant communication as those priorities are shifting. Right. So when we met, we both had very significant roles that we played in our family. So while we were dating, a lot of times our family was coming before each other, but it was a conversation constantly that we're having. And going back to what I believe Sister Lucy said before, that friendship is so important, because we had that friendship, we were able to have that communication of, hey, this is what's happening, and still including the other person, but just letting them know this is taking priority right now. And so just constant communication about where the priorities are going. And then as we move to engagement and as we move to marriage, he's my priority now, right? Because this is our family. And so being okay with those shifts is very important. But I think if someone is not including you and constantly talking with you and communicating with you early in the relationship, that is a red flag, because I believe that dating and getting to know one another is the training ground for us moving forward. And so if we're unable to do it during the dating phase, then that's a question. That makes me question, are we able to do it during marriage as well? So yeah, that's what I have.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. Thanks so much. And thanks for the sacrifice to join us as well. Thank you, Mr. Kevin. That was awesome. That was awesome. Just like the husband and the wife. Thank you so much. That is actually cool. And Mr. Kevin said something very, very vital, very, 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 very important. Sitting down to, talk about before moving to any committed relationship is very, very vital. It's very, very important, because in such, both of you will be able to have one view, and so that you not have different opinions, different samples of things coming together. So that was awesome. Thank you once again, and God bless you, sir. God bless you, ma. I really appreciate you all. So now moving on, we have 3 more questions to go. I'm sorry, some of you are seeing me typing something. I'm just responding to 1 or 2 persons that are still having difficulties in joining us, and especially Mr. Gideon, who is supposed to have a little session with us before the end of this, before the end of today's talk. So sorry about that. So the next question goes to Obianuju. Yeah, Obianuju Emelo. So now on looking at the symptoms, and then looking at what to do, and then looking at hearing from our uncles and aunties whether being a priority is a demand or an entitlement or is a requirement. So we want to now consider this question that if one have discovered that he or she has lost the place, was a priority. Let's say, for example, the person was a priority or was seen herself or himself as a priority, and now the person is seeing that such is going down. On discovering that, what do you think such person needs to do in order to retain such a position? What does the person need to do, to retain the position, to remain? Because I want to put it down a bit so that it will be much, much clearer. Sometimes, from what I've gathered, most people consider someone as a priority just not only when the relationship is starting, but when values start, values start depreciating, when someone probably is no longer bringing valuable things on the table, is no longer focused, is no longer people's living, even is no longer geared towards the marriage, the relationship again. So what can you offer to people listening to us that can help them to retain, maybe someone is in such a situation, to retain back their position as a priority? Thank you. Obianuju.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here, Sam. I must apologize for yawning and yawning. I guess Lagos is crazy. The traffic is always something else. But thank you for having me. I'll come from the singles perspective. I'm not married, so I wouldn't know what to switch over really in a marriage situation. But for me, as a single, if you find out you're no longer a priority to your partner, whoever you're dating, I will first say that sometimes you have to be logical, because I always say that it's important to know that of course the world doesn't really revolve, his world or her world doesn't really revolve around you. To be honest, here they have other things like work and maybe perhaps their family. So it's important to be logical and make sure that maybe you're not overthinking things, and you're actually whatever your concerns are actually valid, not really emotional. I also say that if somebody sees you're no longer a priority, it's best you focus on your path. You can't really make anybody change, really. I'm not of the school of thought that believes that you can make anybody change. It's simple to me. You just continue focusing on who you are, being the best of who you are. And in the long run, it's not, if the person doesn't see your value for who you are, then it's okay to actually exit that relationship. But for me, there are a few things that I would say that actually causes people to lose to become less of a priority in relationship. Sometimes there are a lot of people, perhaps in the first few dates, they just jump into oversharing. They just jump the process. I think relationship is really a process. And then sometimes there's also the issue that people some people overdo things even in relationships. And I'll end with this. It's don't give I wouldn't want anybody here, both male and female, to give anyone the option to make him or her an option. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Obianuju. Thank you. That was awesome. That was great. Your ending part is so striking. You know, that cancer is a great cancer, just as it started with Alari Faith, Lucy, Mr. Prince. You know, don't give anybody option to make you an option. That was why, and then she mentioned about the value of a thing too. Yeah, because everybody is valued in this life. And as a relationship person, there's one thing I've observed now with the help of God and or how would I put it, my little experiences. Now, I think Auntie Dami also ascertained to that. Now, most times when we are going to a relationship, you know, it's like coming to, in the first video or the one video, I said something that when I was reviewing that video, I almost wanted to delete that video and then to apologize. But later, I was trying to ask myself and the Holy Spirit, what was wrong? Because I said that relationship can be likened like a business. So if I'm coming into and I collected something there, so that it's not like you're seeing it like a business, like you're coming to do transaction. But that's the honest truth, because if I'm to have a business with Mr. Prince, for instance, now I'm coming with values, right? I'm coming with my ideas. I'm coming with my my strategies, my plans, my proposals. Likewise, him. And at the end, we are all coming with values. That is what happens in relationship. So most times, people treat you. So talking to the viewers now, people treat you according to what you present yourself to be. And that is one reason too people actually loses their places of position, or their position as being prioritized or being not considered as an option. Okay, so as she rightly said that never you give someone the option to make you an option. Okay, that actually will take us to the next question. Thank you once again, Obianuju. Thank you so much. God bless you. And sorry for the stress of Lagos community. Thank you. We also have Mr. Prosper here. He has been the Zoom user. So Mr. Prosper is a professor of cryptocurrency. So if you're also interested in cryptocurrency, you can meet him. He's my brother, he's my pastor, he's my friend. So he's a professor of cryptocurrency, and he will be able to do justice to that. Thank you, sir, for joining us. And Festus is, I think, the assistant pastor. If I'm mistaken, sir Moyo, you can correct me. I think he's either the assistant pastor or a moderator in the Redeemed Christian Church of God that is in Cluj. Festus, thanks for joining us, and God bless you. Okay, so we'll be taking more one-on-one questions, and then we'll be calling it a day while we prepare for as many that will be able to join us on the 30th, and then we'll have other guests at well that will be joining us, and the panel and the Zoom room will be open for as many that will be joining, not just to speak, but to ask questions and make contributions. And I must say, a lot of persons have been blessed by our contributions. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless us mightily. So the next question we have on the list is just a quick one. Now, looking at not considering myself or being seen like an option. Now, I know two persons have actually told us something about moving out. Now, it's very easy to say move out. It's very, very easy to say move out from the relationship. But bear in mind that this relationship, some persons have been in the relationship for years, for months, and a lot of things have actually gone in between both of them. And then both for the male and the female, I know most times it goes more to the ladies who quickly say that they are no longer considered as a priority, but yet they can't, they find it difficult to leave the guy because of probably time factors, what the sacrifices they've made. So what can be our what can be our strategic approach or what can be our strategic counsels to such persons in such situation who wants to actually move out from the relationship, who wants to navigate out from the relationship, but are finding it so difficult to move out from this relationship? What are the practical steps we can actually give to such persons? And also, what are the practical steps we can give to them in order to make themselves much more prioritized in this relationship of a thing? So I will be starting from Mr. Prosper, and then we kick off to Alare Faith, and then it will go on. Thank you so much, Mr. Prosper.
Okay, good. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, sorry, I was using my iPhone account, so that's what my name was. When it comes to relationship, one of the things I asked myself one of the times was, like, which lady is going to be in a relationship with me, considering the nature of, let's say, my life. I'm like, okay, for me to the rest of them, I'll first need to settle a lot of things. And then, okay, because there is a time for everything. Now, one problem people actually have is that they get into things that they are not prepared for. They are like, time is going, I can be dating a lady, and when I'm ready, I will marry. But I believe that things don't work like that. I believe that if you are going to get into something and you don't want to put in your all, probably due to factors that are beyond you, I believe that you should stay clear of it and not be involved in the relationship. Then the next thing I want to talk about is that most of the times, both parties will have to understand each other. I was once talking with a lady who said that she will want her husband to be always there with her and the rest of them. Like, you don't understand how the one works. The man, once he's marrying you, will be considering things like, how do I cater for you? How do I take care of this? How do I take care of that? And then in the midst of the pursuit of these things of life, there's a possibility that in the order of priorities, you might either come up or come down. But it all boils down, people to actually break up, or most demand for selfishness. We as a man should be able to understand that, okay, I have been with this person for X amount of time. I know him. During this period of time, I have seen that I'm a priority to him. But this is the stage he is in his life now. And I'm not, and there's a change. So let me also adjust. You imagine you talk about people like the ministers of the gospel, or people who are in one government organization, like ambassadors to different nations, or people that are involved in different things that are not always there with their spouse. And even despite the fact that there is phone, there is little that can actually be done. What about the missionaries of old? They still kept relationship. So most of the time, so we have to see reasons with the other person most of the times. And then another thing again is, for those who want to leave, I ask people most of the times, okay, something is not working, you want to leave. The question is, what tells you that the other place you are going is going to actually work? So most of the times, you want to ask yourself, can this thing be fixed? And then that's where having a conversation with the other party comes in. Okay, this is where we were before. This is where we are now. Is there anything that can be adjusted on my own end? Is there anything that can be adjusted from your own end? And then if you are not able to come to a resolution and make amendments, then both parties can actually sound. And I think let everybody go in their ways. So, in my own opinion, I would say one thing, people should be, number one, not get into things that they are not prepared for. Then number two, people should actually not be so hasty in taking decisions to leave, because even some people say there are plenty men in the world and the rest of them. To find a good person, it's not actually. I believe before you even talked about relationship, saying yes to the partner and the rest of them, you sat down to think this, the whole stuff. People should be very careful. Is I believe the things of relationship are not things the person should just shock into. You have to be very convinced in your mind that this is a person I want to spend my life with. We keep you, because most of the times people have a wrong assumption about marriage. Like it's every day the communication is there and the whole rest of my life is. And to say.
Wow. Thank you so much, Sir Prosper. I'm sorry that, apologies that the network was actually disturbing. I'm sorry about that, but we got your point. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, so let's hear from Alare Faith on this issue. What can be the practical steps that can be given to someone in a situation of such and who wishes to quit from such a relationship?
Okay, so if, like I said earlier, after talking it out with your partner and you have been logical and understanding of the priorities he or she has given to you, because like they said, priorities go up and down, but you've seen that your partner is not reasonable enough and you indeed see that you're not being prioritized and you want to take that step to leave, first of all, you shouldn't be afraid of leaving. Because I'm talking from the singles point of view, I'm not married. You shouldn't be afraid of leaving the relationship, of the fear of the unknown, of what if I don't find anybody better. You should prioritize yourself, knowing who you are. You should prioritize that. You should leave that relationship, find yourself, get a balance before getting into another relationship. Because when you actually try to improve on yourself, you will see that a lot of people would like want you shouldn't, seriously, you shouldn't be scared of, I wouldn't find anybody. There are people who find people when they're 40. Your health, your peace of mind, you should be prioritized, really. So you shouldn't be affected by peer pressure or social media or what people will say, your family and all that stuff would say. You shouldn't be affected by that. You should prioritize yourself, and you should take that big step, and you should find yourself, find peace in knowing who you are, also knowing who you are in Christ. Also, I would say that you should allow, get a spiritual balance before getting into another relationship, is what I would say. And also, I would just contribute this: do not mistake priority with attention. For example, just because it doesn't give you attention anymore, you think you're not being prioritized. Like our auntie has said before, like priorities go up and down, the children and all that. You no longer have that full attention, for example, but he's prioritizing his job so that he could feed the family and all that. So after saying all that stuff, and for example, you're not being prioritized and you know for sure, then take the bold step, leave, do not be afraid, find yourself and be peaceful with yourself and have peace of mind before getting into another relationship. That's all I have to say.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are getting a lot of comments as well, and that was awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. And while we are saying leave the relationship, navigate out of the relationship, please, for viewer discretion and just to make the appropriate correction, please, we are not talking about those that are married that you should leave. Okay, we are talking of you're in a relationship as a single, and then you're having these symptoms and you're having these challenges. You, after all said and done, and it's not working out, it's better you leave. And she says something very important. Your life is very, very important to you, and don't be moved by the issues of the peer pressures, the social media activities, and that all your friends are getting married and you're not yet married. It's not really the issue why you should remain and retain as an option in that relationship. Thank you once again, Allah Faith. God bless you. Let's hear from Uncle Dam, Uncle Moyo and Auntie Dami, because I also want to quickly leave them as the married people to, they just came back from retreat and they have to join us, so they can just go. Please, they are married people and I must respect that. Not just married people, they are my pastor. Likewise, Sir Kevin, in as much as Kevin is my PRO, but I'm one person that I respect people a lot. As far as the day he got married, my status for him changed. If I must maintain that protocol, I'm that kind of person. So I can hold him down if he's still here. I think he ran away or he's with Stephen, but he has to leave as well. So Uncle Dami, what have I called Uncle Dami? Uncle Moyo and Auntie Dami. Sorry, it's our connection. It's me and Dami.
All the same.
So Samoyo and Auntie Dami, please, seeing this situation that we and this whole thing we've said, what are the practical steps we can actually give to these single ones that are in such situation, how to get out from the relationship, or otherwise what to do that can help them to be better if actually wanting to retain in that relationship? Thank you, sir, and thank you, ma'am.
Okay, I think I will leave my my wife to talk because I think in this case it's ladies first, then I can back it up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, I'm of the school of thought that before you actually establish a relationship, so to speak, to be a relationship per se, is you need to establish you need to understand what you're in there for. If it is a situationship, you need to know, or a relationship, that will help you to channel your energy towards the right direction. Okay, number one, if you know that, okay, if that is already settled and it is already known to both of you, both parties, that okay, you are in this relationship together, the first thing is, if at any time or peradventure things come in that takes away the attention, all right, that makes you feel less prioritized, I think the best step to take is to talk about it, discuss about these things, and see eventuality where it leads to. You need to constantly know your stand, because people priority changes over time. You might be the priority today, and tomorrow maybe something happened and the person is like, you know what, I think I just want to stay alone and put my life together before before committing to any relationship again, or before continue committing to any relationship. So you need to actually know at that time. It doesn't necessarily mean maybe somebody's cheating on you or the person is not faithful to the relationship. It's just human thing, change is the most constant thing. But in all of it, I think the first step is communication. It is very key in every relationship. It is very important. Communicate these things to one another, and when you communicate it, see how it goes. Give room for the change. It's not that you communicate it and then you expect that the next day you should start calling it 5 times in a day and all that. Try to reason, try to understand where this person is coming from, the standpoint of this person. Try to reason, and as Sister Uju said, she said that don't be carried away with emotions, all right? Let it be from a place of reasoning. Be able to reason well with your partner, to know where they are coming from. Sometimes you yourself, you need to give a break. And also, I will have to put this out there. A lot of people are very attention demanding, like the attention freak. I know a lot of people that they are in a relationship. I have counseled a lot of people that they will tell you that it does not call me like 25 times in a day. It does not call to know. That doesn't mean that you're not being prioritized. Being an attention freak as well, you need to watch it. It's study yourself to know where do you really fall. Are you pushing things too hard, or you're being too hard on the other person? Some other persons are not as They might not really want to like you. They're not. It's not because they're not calling you the way you want, or because they're not giving you the kind of attention that you want. Doesn't mean they don't prioritize you. Doesn't mean you're not important. But it's not everybody that actually have time for all this kind of attention, giving so much attention. So you need to understand who your partner is and work it out. And in case you see that it's something you cannot cope with, I mean, the best thing is to leave. Only if you are not in marriage, because if you're already married, my dear sister and brother, you have to like you need to bear what you have, you need to bear the consequences and pray that things will change. But if you're still in a relationship, there's still like a lot of chances and opportunity to still like to leave and to make a U-turn, a decision, or to come to a consensus. But before you do that, give it a benefit of doubt. Issue of prioritizing and attention, it's so diverse and it breaks up a lot of relationship. In fact, a lot of relationship that was meant to be, really, relationship that was meant to be, but just because he's not giving me the attention that I needed, or she's not giving me the attention, she loves her work, her job more than me, she does this one, but all those things, you expect somebody who is a very busy person to just live their life like that, just abandon their life and focus on you. What will they eat? So sometimes you need to be reasonable and come to a place of reasoning, and then from there you can make a decision that you know that you're not going to like regret in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Thank you. Thank you, ma. I think Samuel, you have something to say.
Yeah, I think I'll just add a few to. I think she has already said it all. Because I'll come from the man's part of the view. I'll just try to chip in a little thing to what she has said. So I just want to know that relationship uh, is always a work in progress. It's not something that you build in a day. You improve every day. Just a school of thought that you improve every day. You can start a relationship maybe when the man is free, is not really busy, or the lady is free or is not really busy. But along the line, a lot of things will come that will take your time, will take his time or take your time. So you just have to understand one another. That's why we call it priority. You just have to take it, understand each other. Things change. It doesn't, sometimes at first, maybe he's financially stable or she's financially stable, or when you met, maybe she's not educated and maybe you are on the same line and something happened. Maybe you are the PhD and she's still struggling to get a way into school, but you just have to fall back to that priority, fall back to that love, and let this still continue. Don't say because something happened, maybe she's not up to my standard this day, then that is the end of it. I don't want to I don't want to move on in the relationship. Just try to discuss, plan your future, plan changes that, the constant is change, in every day of our life. A lot of things can happen along the line. The road is straight, but along the line, you see there's some bend, but let your focus be the destination where both of you are heading to. Let the focus be the destination. A lot of things will come your way: financial issue, emotional issue, family issues. He loves his mother more than me. He gives his mother time more than, all this will come. But try to understand one another and give her a benefit of doubt in everything you do, and the relationship will be rosy. Thank you. That's what I just want to. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I think all the singles in the house are learning as well, in as much as God is helping us to make our good contributions, and our viewers over there. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's hear from Mr. Kevin and Stephanie. Mr. Kevin Sule.
Can you just recap for us the question so we make sure we're answering the right thing? I'm here with Brother Kelvin.
Okay, so we are looking at what are the practical steps that can actually be given to single guys and single ladies and single guys outside there who are in a relationship of such finding themselves they are no longer a priority? What are the practical steps that can be offered to them in order for them to leave out from that relationship or to retain the relationship if need be?
I'll go ahead and start. I believe just even defining, I know someone said this before, defining what priority means for you, because what priority means for me is not the same thing for Sister Dami. So each of us are unique individuals, and we need to know what priority means for us. And then also communicating that with your partner, with the person that you're dating. This is something that is important to me. And seeing if they are willing. So I often talk about being willing and being capable. So sometimes our partners are capable to do something, but they choose not to do it. And sometimes they're not capable to do something, but they are willing to do it, right? And so seeing, are they willing to make you a priority? Are they willing to include you in certain decisions? Are they willing to check in on you and things like that? That's important. And I think lastly, just knowing the things that we want and need in a partner is very important, because if we know that we need certain communication, or we know that we need quality time, that really helps us know what to ask for. So it's hard to ask for something that you don't know that you need. And so I will stop there.
Wow, thank you so much. So that was great. Priorities actually differs. Yeah, that is awesome. What can be Mr. A or Miss A and B in a relationship, their priority will not or may not be the same, which is very absolute. That is why relationship are very they form in different dimensions, and they have different diversity. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.
Kelvin, okay, can I go ahead and speak?
Okay, sir. Go ahead.
I apologize if I seem to be all over the place. I'm actually at work at the same time, so multitasking here. So what I am going to say about, making your priorities known is you have to set your expectations straight, right? If I'm with someone and I'm not letting them know what I want, what my needs are and what needs I want met, and I just expect them to hypothetically, just know what those needs are, and those needs are not being met because I'm just assuming they know, then it's going to be a problem, right? So when you're with someone, you want to make sure that you make your expectations known, right? You let them know, this is what, as much as we're in a relationship, this is what I expect, from you. Kind of have that conversation, go back and forth and set the expectations straight, so that way the person knows how to handle you as a priority.
So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So you also have to, that falls also in the place where Auntie Dami was talking about communication, which is very important, because as we also have established, attentions differ from priorities, and emotional maturities is another field entirely when it comes to issue of priority. Okay, so thank you so much, sir. You have to set things straight, make it clear, so that the other person will be carried. Let's hear from Uncle Prince, and then we hear from Lucy still on this issue of practical steps we can offer to the singles who are in such a situation. Okay, let's still hear from these two persons, Uncle Prince Obolo and Lucy. Thank you, Uncle Prince.
Thank you very much for the question once again, and to all the contributors. I really appreciate the contribution. It's really enlightening for us who are single and observing or maybe searching. So the question is, someone who is in a relationship along the line find herself or himself not being prioritized or less prioritized. I think there is no need to say less prioritized, being an option. So what does the person need to do? Of all the speakers, I truly agree with them that before you go into a relationship, you definitely need to define the priority in the relationship. And I would like to bring instances as a navigator, as someone who studied navigation and waterborne transportation. Normally, for navigators, we will come together and decide, okay, we are presently in Romania. We know where we are, but we want to get somewhere. We want to go to the United States of America. That is a decision. That is to say, okay, we are two individuals who want to be in a relationship. That is the goal. The goal is not just being in the relationship, but to the extent of getting married, loving each other, staying in harmony, in peace, progressing, developing each other, loving each other, bearing fruit in the form of bringing our children to the world, caring for them, nurturing them, bringing them to someone who the society can depend on. That is where we are heading to. Like I said, for navigators, we have decided to go to US. And there must be a map, a roadmap, how we are going to achieve that. The priority is getting to US. And there are things we need to do. We must communicate. Communication is one important thing because at all points we must ask ourselves, where are we? Because along the line, obstacles will come in the way. There are hazards that will show themselves. And if we are not communicating, definitely it will be a problem to us who are moving towards getting to the United States of America. Same for the relationship, getting married and doing all the necessities in the marriage. So for the individuals, when you find yourself, or for the navigators, you realize that the ship that's supposed to head to the United States of America is now heading to Ghana. Definitely, it must raise concerns. And you can't just sit there looking at the ship going to Ghana. You must definitely ask questions. No, this was not the initial plan. Our agreement is to get to the United States of America. So why the sudden change of our heading to a different direction entirely? We have to come together and discuss and to see reasons why that change is there. I've heard from a lot of relationship experts that communication might be the most important thing. It's not even love. Because if there is no communication, love won't be there. That is why even in our relationships with God, we may say we love God, but without us communicating to God, there is no how that love, will grow there. So if in a relationship you realize that you are not heading to your prioritized destination, call your partner, discuss with him. This was our initial plan. Speak with the person politely, not in a disrespectful manner. Try to let him understand these are the things I'm observing, and this was not our initial plan. What do you think? What can we do to make sure these are corrected? Because if you do not communicate, definitely that person will take you to a destination you don't want to get to. Maybe you have decided to go to heaven, and along the line, he changes his way to hell. And if you don't say anything, if you are not concerned or hoping that he will change, no, you don't have to hope. You have to do something. You have to take a step. You have to communicate. Only, I believe, only in communication, trying to understand the reasons of the changes in the relationship. It's only then you can know whether you can continue with the relationship or not. Because they said a broken relationship is better than a broken marriage. So, in short, I would say communicate with your partner. Give him time. If it doesn't change, as Fyodor Dostoevsky said, altering a step is what people fear the most. Altering a word is what people fear the most. I will advise you have to alter a word. You have to alter a word. You have to alter a step. Decide. You don't want to get to hell. You don't want to get to a different destination. So tell your partner and leave the relationship. That's what I would say. Thank you very much to all my listeners out there. Over
Wow.
to
Wow.
Lucy.
Thank you so much, Sir Prince. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You are most welcome.
Uh, because I see every of our cancers is just going almost in the same line. So, and which actually tells us these are the needful, these are things that are needed. So, Lucy, before you speak on that, I just want to add this last question that just came up as well, which I noted there. We've just been looking on the priority, which is very, very important. Now, while we make our conclusions alongside with the practical step needed to either quit from the relationship or what the person needs to do, I also want us to add to our suggestions this question: are you an option and why? Because I think while we are actually speaking, we've said a lot about that, but someone is still asking, okay, how can I really know if I'm an option and why am I considered as an option? So maybe you have something to say as regards to that, but I know we've actually said one of two things. I also say something about that in the first introductory video, but just to help this person as well, it will be much more welcome. So over to you, Lucy, as Ujunwa gets prepared as well. And then just a second, who else do we have here? And then, yeah, Prosper as well. Yeah, and then we'll be calling it the why we are joined for 30th of August by God's grace. Thank you. Lucy, over to you, please.
Okay, just to add to what everyone has said, I think you've all said it all basically. I'll start with the practical step in staying in such a relationship. The best you can do is give it your all so that if you look back tomorrow, you would know there's no room for regret. You gave it your all, because regret is another thing moving forward. So make sure you give it your all. If the person does not change, also be okay with knowing that it's okay to be by yourself and be positive. A practical step to stay in, I think, would be surrounding yourself with people who love and support you, family, friends, just so when you get tempted, because most people move on and then they get tempted to go back, even when they know things will not improve. So surround yourself with positive people, with friends, family, people who would give you all the encouragement and the push you need to move forward. And responding to this question that was just been asked, if how to know if you're an option, if you're not being prioritized, if you're being ignored, like everyone has said, like priorities change. Make it, let the person know you feel ignored. Let the person just be open and give the person room to make an improvement. And if there's no improvement, then there's no need. Just keep moving. So that's all I have to say.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very, very important. Give it your all. And also have people that I would say that probably will be your backbone, okay? Because as I say, it's not easy, especially even if you've had access to maybe medical stuff. It's very easy to say leave the relationship, but honestly speaking, it's not easy as said. It's not easy because emotions, a lot of tortures go on there. So Lucy have given us another great dimension again. Give it your best and fall back to people who care about you, and then actually get proper heal before you do for the next time, and then so that you don't have both sides of regret God bless you, Lucy. Let's hear from Obianuju, and let's hear from Obianuju on this issue, and then Prosper.
Okay, for me, it's simple. You must continue to. I think it's important for everybody to have to not just be focused on the other person. Like some of the speakers rightly said about you knowing that the person's world doesn't completely revolve around you. It's also important to have your own goals, be focused on your own life as well. And then sometimes when you are not focused on your life, you may start to pick out little things that really in the scheme of things don't matter. So that's it for me. It's important to focus on your path. And if another practical example is this, people, especially in dating, I think sometimes we ladies, because this is what they want, this is their ideal relationship, they start chasing the man. I don't want to get into that, but I don't think you should do that as well. You should allow it. You shouldn't try to sometimes some of the reasons for these underlying things has to do with control. And then it's important that you know that you should be the one. Aspect for a lady, you should be at the recipient end of chase of to receive the chasing, not doing the chasing. So if you're a lady and you're doing that, I advise you to stop and then take some steps back and focus on your part and be the best you can be. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Obianuju. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Okay, so ladies out there, you've also heard from one of our speakers. Yeah, very, very important too. Because I think maybe I stand to be corrected, but it's actually my opinion as well. I think most times a man start losing values on you as a lady, or the lady start losing values on you as a man when you yourself start losing your focus in things that matters to you. Because everybody have you were once yourself who before you started gaining access into a relationship. And I think that was part of one of the things I said in the introductory video when I said you actually, sometimes people get into a relationship and they forget everything about themselves. They forget their purpose, they forget their passion, they forget their value. The one part of it is that when this happens, and then all the person does is just concerned about the lady or the man. When you guys keep on communicating, then what are the new things that you're going to bring on the table? And when new things, especially in this generation we live in today, when things are not brought on the table, that's where we even have the issues of communication. Okay, so each day keep on developing yourself. I think that is part of what Obianuju is also saying. And again, for the ladies, I believe in the fivefold of men, or the five kinds of men, every man wants to be a hunter and remains a hunter. So if the other way turns around, sometimes it can also make the man to actually lose interest, or vice versa. Thank you once again, and God bless you. Let's hear quickly from Prosper. We have another question here, but that will be compiled as one of the questions to be asked on 30th. Some questions are just coming in now from Facebook, but we'll handle those ones by the mercies of God on 30th of August. Thank you once again. Thank you everyone who is still here. Thank you, Uncle Moyo and Auntie Dami. Thank you, Mr. Kevin and Sister Stephanie. Thank you, my prof, Uncle Prince. Thank you, Prosper. Thank you, Obianuju, so much. Thank you.
Thank you too, Doke. Appreciate it.
You guys are awesome. Thank you, Faith. All the contributions tonight. Oh, I've learned more. Thank you all. God bless you. God bless you. Let's hear from Prosper why we will make just 60 seconds closing remarks, just a counsel on an advice or something you want the audience to hear tonight before we just close, just in 60 seconds. Yeah, Mr. Prosper.
Okay, so I was listening also, and they said when they got into their relationship, they made up their mind that it will work. So what my counsel to people is that before you get into things, study carefully, pray, and then anything you're getting into from the onset, after careful prayers and all that, if it's not going to work, you should know. And if it's something that you know it will work, you will have to work for it. I believe that priority and attention and whatsoever are a right and also stuff that are earned. And that is my own answer.
Thank you. Yeah, over to you, Faith Alari, then Uncle Moyo and Auntie Dami. We'll just move in that way. 60 seconds.
Sorry, what's the question?
Okay, so maybe a suggestion or a counsel or something you want the audience to go home with tonight amongst all that we've shared.
Oh, okay. So it's actually going to be nothing new, but like I said earlier, you should like Sister Lucy said, have an open conversation with your partner, and after doing that, you should think from a logical aspect and do not mistake priority and attention, because they are two different things. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, thank you. Let's hear from Uncle Moyo and Sister Dami.
Hi everyone. I'll just say this in 60 seconds. In a relationship, the first thing you need to do before you go into a relationship is you need to commit it to God's hand, because you cannot take God equation out of anything. Because for physical to manifest, it starts from the spiritual. So commit it to God's hand, that even when you found some situation along the line, you can tell it to God, because He's the one that asks you to go ahead. Because God equation cannot be overemphasized, and you cannot neglect God equation out of any relationship, because God has blessed relationship and He will continue to stand in the gap for both of you along the line. So even if you even along the line, when you see that the real love, or what you plan along the relationship is dying or is going down, you can as well go back in prayer, and God will spring it up along the line.
Wow.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Auntie Dami.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say what you said actually. That make God, like, everything that we do, make sure that God is involved, so that when the going get tough, there's somebody to go back to. We can always fall back on God's promises and rely on His words. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir Kevin, Sister Stephen, Lucy, and Obianuju, and then I think that will be the end for tonight. Thank you so much. Just 60 seconds.
Yes, thank you so much, Doki, for inviting myself and my wife over to, be a part of this conversation. Thank you so much. So, in 60 seconds, the thing is, the topic that we discussed today, in my opinion and in my experience, is one of the easiest things that you can encounter in a relationship as a problem. It's also one of the easiest things to diagnose. It's if someone is not taking you seriously, you can tell. You can tell if, for example, you have an appointment to have a date with your partner at 1 p.m. and at 1 p.m. they're not there, and they're not calling you and checking on you and saying, hey, I'm, stuck in traffic, but I'll be there soon. They're not, checking in with you and giving you that update. It's easy to know when they don't care. And you can easily know if someone is not taking you as their priority. So, just like every other, person on the call has said, pray about it, but also keep your eyes open. If someone is not taking you seriously, you can know. And when it's not working out, just pray about it and back out. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Steph, let's hear from you. And yeah, Lucy.
Yes, sir. To add to that, I think having wise counsel is also very important. So having not everybody, we don't want to have everyone in your relationship, but having those people that you can go to, whether those are mentors, whether those are pastors, godly, wise counsel that you can seek and just share with them what's going on and get their advice. I think that has been a tremendous support to us as we move through. And they're able to see some things that you cannot see. And so being willing to talk with wise counsel, I think is helpful as well.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sister Lucy and Obianuju, please.
Okay, so I would say before going into a relationship, have the mindset, just know that it's okay and it's necessary to be satisfied with who you are by yourself. So that when someone else comes along, it would just be an addition and just be a better way and more fun, two heads going together in the same direction. First of all, know where you're going. When someone else comes along, you guys should also be heading towards the same direction. And being a priority is a necessity. It's absolute necessity. Friendship, communication, all these are things that make a relationship. I would end there.
Wow, thank you so much. Obianuju.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. I always say it's always two great people that make a relationship. So it's also good to as build yourself as well and always be the best you can be in a relationship and out. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. Once again, I want to say a sincere thanks to every one of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the sacrifices and your labor for tonight is awesome. Some of you are supposed to be sleeping now, but I kept you all awake. Thank you for the sacrifice. And I believe our viewers over there have actually learned a lot. And those that will be seeing this video later on, we also learn a lot again. Thank you so much. Thank you for being part of this panelist. God bless you all. I can't but say thank you, unless you are awesome, you're great. Thanks for all your contributions. Can I just see all your faces once again before we all say good night? Thank you, Mr. Prince Joseph Okolo. Sir, I think you're in Nigeria now, and you joined us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thanks to you too for the invitation. Thanks to everyone.
Lucy,
I love seeing these beautiful faces.
thank you. Thank you, Sister Lucy. Thank you. She's a medical doctor and she's doing great. And she has actually a platform that she's working something great, because one thing I do on this platform is, as God help me, to promote as many persons that are doing something great as well. And she's doing something great. So you can follow her up on her page on IG, I think on Facebook as well. And she's doing awesome. She's doing great.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. She's also doing something great. Faith,
It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, thanks. I think you guys are still on this your hair stuff, yeah, right? So please do it to reach out to them and support everyone. See, the thing is that we must all come to this point of strategic alliance as a lady of management. Obianuju always teaches teaches me more. So we should be able to support each other and one another. She's doing something great. Thank you so much, Faith. Thank you, Obianuju, for joining us. God bless you. Thank you so much with all the stress for today. God bless you so much. God bless all of us. Thank you, my pastor, Uncle Moyo. Thanks, Auntie Dami. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the invite. God bless you, sir.
Go, sir. Thank you, man. Thank you, Mr. Kevin and Steph. Thank you so much. Thank you. I thank you. God bless you. Keep you all. Keep you all. God bless you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Uncle Prosper. God bless you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And God bless every one of you. And to our viewers there, God bless you. Thank you, my special admin. He's been the one backing everything on Facebook. Thank you. He couldn't join on live Zoom, Okay, thank you, sir. I appreciate you and I love you. God bless you. Have a wonderful night. And as we plan to meet on 30th, as God gives us life. Thank you. Thank you. Good night. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night. Good night to everyone.
Good night.
Good night.